All right, so yesterday we started our new focus sentence and we spent some time talking about the things that we noticed about this very short 3-word sentence. And you talked about lots of things, like the exclamation point telling us how we read it, the fact that the sentence is also the title of the book, but what was our focus phrase? Julie, I think you were the one that even noticed this.
That are is the verb, but it's like a special.
That are is the verb. Does anybody remember what the am, is, are, was, were? What did we call them? Being verbs, because they show us being. So we have the subject of our sentence, this noun, hippos, and the verb is telling us something that hippos are. They are huge. Does anybody know what kind of word huge is?
Big.
Naoto, do you know what kind of word it is?
Like giant. No.
Well, yes, that's what it means. It means giant, but if I'm talking parts of speech, noun, verb, adjective, adverb, pronoun, interjection, what are they, Nora? It's an adjective. An adjective is a word that describes a noun. So in this case, the verb tells us what the hippos are. All right? So we did a great job noticing that yesterday. So today, we are going to compare and contrast with another sentence. So I'm going to display another sentence I don't want you to call out. Don't want you to raise your hand right away. I want you to look at the sentence, and when you notice something about the second sentence, the imitation sentence, put your finger on your nose. All right? So what do you notice? No, not yet. Just... Nora, what do you notice?
Instead of the exclamation point, it's a period.
All right, so Nora noticed that in the first sentence we have an exclamation point, and in the second sentence we have a period. So Nora, what does that do?
It makes the sweet sound like with the water moves.
A little bit louder.
It makes the sweet mouth.
Okay, so it's not as much emotion,
Kids are sweet.
right? So yesterday, when we were reading the first sentence, you said that exclamation point told us to read it with emotion. Hippos are huge with some enthusiasm, right? But this one, with the period, kittens are sweet, right? It's just not as much. All right, anything else? Evie, did you notice something else? Remember, nice and loud.
It has the same being verb.
Okay, so
Because it's plural.
we have the same being verb, and I heard someone else point out that both of the subjects are plural, right?
Yes.
That actually leads us into our extension piece of this.
No, they're both capitals.
So if we look at these sentences,
Wait, it has
oh, whoops.
This is not. It says a
I know. So happy this happens when Miss Kowalski is videotaping it. All right. That just will show the other teachers that I make mistakes too, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Naoto, tell me what's different.
It doesn't have the plural.
It doesn't have the plural.
So if it doesn't have the plural, it has to be is.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait a minute. Naoto just told me two things. Let's see if you guys agree. So Naoto just told me that these two subjects are no longer plural.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Does anybody know the word for something that's not plural? I've used the word with you, but I don't know that I ever taught it to you.
Can be.
You want to guess, Carly?
Oh, I know it. I think I know what it is.
It starts with an S.
I know it. Oh, I know it. My mom told me. Wait. Can I say
Wait,
I don't know.
she doesn't know. Jacob?
Singular.
Singular.
Yes,
These-
I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
These are singular nouns. So Naoto says, if we have singular nouns, our being verb that we have to use is.
Why can't it be? Why can't it be? Can be. A hippo can be huge.
All right, but if we're using am, is, are, was, were, which are typically the being verbs that we use, can is considered a helping verb, but yes. So we could, there's no reason, you're right, that
A hippo can be huge. A kitten can be.
All right.
And it could be a hippopotamus. And be is a being word, right?
all right,
It's not funny.
so yes, technically, this is these sentences now have state of being verbs in it that are different. But if we were trying to keep our structure to be parallel to the original ones, then is what would fit. But you're right, can be works. All right, now To.
So if you want it to be in the past, like you can do was. Say hippo was.
What? You guys, I can't even keep up with you. All right. So now
Now what? He lost.
Now Joe is telling us
He lost.
that we can go into the past tense
He lost weight.
and use was. A hippo was huge, which implies that it no longer is, which makes me wonder what happened to the hippo.
He lost. He was
And
running laps. He lost.
A kitten
He lost.
was sweet,
Oh,
which also makes me wonder what happened in the house to make the kitten not sweet
my
anymore.
kitten. If he went to the barbarian
Five.
room.
I started bleeding.
Give me 5.
Oh, Emma.
Give me 5. So to wrap up, let me tell you what I noticed about your thinking today.
Is it good?
So, when we first started using this structure for learning about grammar, this patterns of power structure, I noticed that the kinds of things that you were talking about with the sentences were very limited. When we were talking about capitalization, that's all you were really noticing was the capitalization and the ending punctuation. And in just the few short weeks that we've been when I've been inviting you to notice things about sentences, the things that you are noticing and that we've been able to talk about are getting bigger and bigger. They're not like physically bigger, but it's a wider and wider range of things.
Wow. And then it gets.
So this shows me that you are learning and thinking about your sentences in lots of different ways, more ways than you were a few weeks ago. And the most important thing is I'm starting to see this in your writing as well. You're paying more attention to what you're writing. So are you becoming better writers?
Yes.
Because of this?
Yes.
And what is my goal? Why do we do this?
To become better writers.
Writers. All right, everybody go back to your seats. We'll talk about literacy students.